Welcome to my channel, Changespider Tarot. I hope you all are well and finding creative and healthy ways to calm and nourish your mind, body, and spirit. These messages are intended to provide validation and clarity to those who most need to hear them. You may hear a message that may help a friend or a family member, and your passing this video to them could be why you're here today. Stay open and stay loving. Peace and love to you. Okay, so here are the 5 choices again. I have left timestamps in the comments below. So what you can do here is take a look at the symbols on the card or the number and see which draws you. Which number, which symbol is really kind of tugging at you. I have left this open. These intuitive messages are intended to be open, so I haven't really told or asked the cards to focus on a particular aspect or area of anyone's life. So just see what pulls you, see what your intuition is drawing toward you, and we will get started in numerical order. And we'll get started with pile number 1. Okay, for those of you that picked pile number 1, let's take a look and see what we have. Wow, we have romance. We have the Chariot, the 4 of Cups, the Ace of Pentacles, the 2 of Wands, the 3 of Cups, and Temperance. Wow. All right, y'all. This reading is screaming, I have a new love coming in. So after a period of time, maybe somebody's been courting you for a while, or maybe you've been courting somebody for a while. Things are finally starting to take off. Maybe you've been single for a while. Things are finally starting to take off. Someone is serious about offering you something. Someone is wanting to choose you, or you're wanting to choose someone. You're choosing to choose. You're choosing to choose here, which is really cool. You may have met this person at a party. I know most of us are isolating at the moment, so this party could have been online. There might have been some kind of Zoom gathering. This might be somebody that you knew before isolation started, and so you feel comfortable with this person. You have fun with this person. This is somebody that you know that you connect with, you know that you can have a good time with, and it looks like the relationship that's in the process of budding here has a real opportunity to be something special. So we have Temperance, we have a major arcana here. So this person could be a very awesome balance for you, or you could be a very awesome balance for them. That's going to work both ways, right? So you guys are really going to help to heal and help each other grow spiritually. And this looks like a very beautiful start to something new. Some kind of new love, some kind of new romance. And this offer is just starting to come in. So either you're just getting to a place where you're ready to try to get something off the ground with this person, or they're getting ready to get something off the ground with you if they haven't already offered. The offer would be asking you to maybe chat more often, or maybe, God forbid, meet out, right? So we're all we're all being responsible. I know that I've been responsible, so I'm not trying to make light of a very serious situation here, but yeah, so this actually looks really cool, and it's really cool that this was the first thing that came out, especially during a time like this where we're not most of us aren't really thinking about romance right now, but there we go. There we have it. The High Priestess. So maybe you've been, or they've been, taking a lot of time to themselves, doing some deep thinking. That could be why they've finally made a decision and finally decided to choose, is because they've had that High Priestess time to themselves to really kind of think and be, and they decided they enjoy being with you. They have fun with you. So let's see what else we can get for this. The Knight of Cups, amazing. The Nine of Swords. Here's the Ace of Pentacles again. So I'm getting a couple of things here with these cards. One could be that once the offer is made, then perhaps some anxiety begins, all right? So perhaps the person making the offer is a little apprehensive. It looks like they've been a little apprehensive to go ahead and make the offer. So, but it looks like they've chosen to do so with the Chariot and the Ace of Pentacles here. So there's this, I'm really excited about trying to move something forward and trying to create something with this person, and at the same time I'm really nervous that it's not going to work out, or that I'm going to look like a fool, or that they're going to think I'm nutso for wanting to do this, try to start something up like right now, when, you know, most of us are not socializing, at least in person. But here this is again, you know, it's tied, it clearly ties back to this offer of, you know, would you like to go out with me? Which is really cute, you know, I love that. That's super cute. So, woo! King of Wands. Yeah, I mean, this person, if you or this person is really feeling very confident right now, there's a confidence, and maybe they're coming out of something icky, right? And so that could be the hesitation here and the anxiety here. You know, it's like, I don't want to relive the Ten of Swords again, right? So what else can we get here for pile number 1? There's the High Priestess again. The Moon, yeah. So I think the High Priestess here is really this time that they spent, or that you spent kind of on your own, contemplating and just kind of being, whether you were meditating or just, you know, I think a lot of us right now are taking this quiet time to just kind of go internal and try to figure out what it is that we really want. There's been a realization here that there's happiness to be had with this person, right? So there's fun, there's happiness, and that this struggle to make a choice, which it looks like it has been a struggle to make a choice. There, you know, intuitively is what I'm getting. The person who's making the choice, the person who's going to bring the offer forward, I think intuitively knows that this has the potential to be a really good thing with Temperance here. But here we have the Moon right underneath this Nine of Swords, right? So there's still some stuff kind of lurking in the subconscious, some stuff still lurking, you know, the fears that we, you know, this could be dreams, you know, maybe this person is having some nightmares and maybe they haven't shared it with you yet. Or, you know, they're considering telling you this, but it's awkward because this is something new and they're trying to get some kind of romance off the ground with you. And so some person in this connection is struggling with something, and it looks like it's pretty deep, and it looks like it might be pretty serious. So for those of you where this is resonating, maybe keep that in mind, that there is some kind of deep stuff, some fear, some anxiety, some true anxiety happening here for one person in this scenario, okay? And then we have the Three of Pentacles underneath this Ace of Pentacles. So I love the way this reading is working out, because we have this Three of Cups, which is a beautiful communal, sharing of, positive energies with people. And then we have this Three of Pentacles, which is collaborating with others and working with others to create something new, right? In this particular card, it's one person working on this piece of stained glass art, but in order to make this happen, he needed to collaborate with others. Which wall can I use, or which wall should I use, and what's the time frame, and like all this stuff that we need to think through and talk about when we're creating something. Especially, we need to involve other people. And so what I'm getting here with this offer, right? So this offer may very well involve a third party, and by third party I don't mean like another romantic third party. I mean, y'all might be part of like a group, some kind of, a lot of people are using Zoom right now. I'll use that as an example. Maybe you all have been on Zoom together with a group of people many times, or several times over the course of the last few weeks. And so there's this, the vibe I'm getting is that this romance is budding out of a communal type of group setting. And being that the state of affairs are what they are, I have to make the assumption that that is something that's happening like online and virtually, is where this kind of communal gathering is happening. So maybe it's a work thing. Maybe you guys have met each other virtually online through work. Maybe it's a group that you found during this quarantine situation that he or she or whatever started to join, and so it's there's this feeling of communal, is kind of where this is all coming from and out of, which is really beautiful. So the one kind of piece here that's potentially a challenge is this row, and so there's a very cautionary. I don't see that this is like a very slight cautionary is what I'm saying. I'm not getting that there are major obstacles and major challenges here. It's just one person is feeling anxious about starting this, and being that the Ten of Swords popped over at some point while I was shuffling, the anxiety could very well be tied to the previous relationship that you had or that they had, that just was really painful. And so yeah, they've met you, or you've met them, and you really want to start something up again with somebody, but there's this memory that's still kind of lingering here, and that's something that I think the cards are showing you that possibility exists. If it's you and you haven't been fully acknowledging that or aware of it, this is your way to open up to that and to kind of work through this energy. If it's not you and it's them, then this is an opportunity for you to be understanding and a little bit more sensitive than perhaps you would have been had these cards not shown themselves. But otherwise, this looks really positive and exciting, and I really love this. I really love this reading. So I hope that you enjoyed this, and I hope that you got something out of it, and I hope to see you around my channel. Okay, take care. Welcome to my channel, ChangeSpider Tarot. I hope you all are well and finding creative and healthy ways to calm and nourish your mind, body, and spirit. These messages are intended to provide validation and clarity to those who most need to hear them. You may hear a message that may help a friend or a family member, and you're passing this video to them could be why you're here today. Stay open and stay loving. Peace and love to you. Okay, for those of you that picked pile number 2, let's take a look and see what we have. We have Harvest. We have the Death card. We have the 7 of Pentacles. The Knight of Pentacles. The Knight of Cups. The 6 of Cups. And the 9 of Wands. So let's see what we get here. With Harvest, the Death card, the 6 of Cups, I am getting a, someone is reaping what they've sown, okay? So whether that's a positive thing or a negative thing, I'm gonna leave that open to the viewer, to the person who's watching, but I'm very strongly getting someone has reaped what they've sown, and they may be feeling a little ambivalent about the direction that this is going. They're not quite sure if it's you or the person that you might have in mind. They're not quite sure which way this is going to go yet. It looks like there may have been some false starts and some false promises potentially. It also looks like there was genuine effort put forward into something, all right? However, all right, so it's kind of like this is a bit, we're gonna get clarification here, but this is a bit complicated. I can tell from these cards this is a complicated situation because there was a start to something and someone got relatively far into this endeavor, this project, this idea, and it looks like there was some genuine effort put forward into this particular thing, whatever this thing is. But somewhere along the way, they might have lost their way, is what's coming across to me here from these cards. And now they or you are feeling a little defensive because things did not necessarily work out the way that you or they had intended. And that could be good or bad, you know, depending on the situation. So again, I'm going to leave that open. But some situation has left someone feeling on the defensive from the standpoint of, you know, I put this work in, I really wanted to see this through, I really wanted to make it work, but somehow I lost my footing, or I lost my way, or my intentionality got I'm getting like I lost my way. And then the energy that was being put into this thing shifted. And I'm going to say it shifted in a way that produced an outcome that wasn't necessarily intended. And so now there's a little bit of frustration, and there's a little bit of, you know, how did I end up here? You know, how did this happen type of feeling with this, okay? So let's get some clarification for this. have the Five of Pentacles, the Nine of Swords, the Page of Swords, something that was started, and there might have been some kind of financial loss tied to this potentially, and clearly there's some anxiety, and there's some I'm getting frustration from this Page of Swords, where you or they thought they had really thought this through, and they thought that they had things under control and that they were going to be able to move forward with this. But like I said, something went awry. Something went awry. Let's see what else we can get here. Yeah, the Ten of Wands, wow. The Knight, again. The Knight of Pentacles. And the Six of Wands. So this, if it was some kind of financial investment, some kind of financial loss, clearly there's some anxiety happening here between this Nine of Swords and this Ten of Wands. There's a burden now that didn't exist before. So before whatever was started here, was ever attempted here, before this went awry, it looks like things were kind of, they were looking kosher, and then we ended up here with the Nine of Wands, the Ten of Wands, the Nine of Swords. These are all challenging energies. The Five of Pentacles, very challenging. So something really shifted here. And there's clearly some anxiety. What I'm getting here is that, with this Knight kind of tying these two pieces together, when this started, when this initiative, this endeavor, this project, this whatever this was started, there was a genuine, thoughtful attempt to move forward with something. And perhaps now there's some regret and some anxiety tied to the choices that were made here. The choices, maybe you moved slower than you needed to, or that you should have, or that they should have. And so now there's like regrets and second thoughts and damn it, if only I had, what if I had? So all of these what ifs and this second guessing and this thinking and this, all of the things that come along with, when things don't work out, and not only do they not work out, that really took a turn that surprises us, and that was really not what we had expected, right? So all the anxiety that's coming through here with that. This was something that, with this Death card and the Seven of Pentacles here, this was kind of like a slow burn, is what I'm getting. This wasn't something that happened very quickly. So perhaps, also implied here by these Knight of Pentacles, slowest moving knights in the deck, right? So whatever this shift was, it wasn't a shift that happened quickly. This was a slow grind. This was a slow burn. And maybe that's where some of this anxiety and regret is coming from, because perhaps there were opportunities to course correct along the way, because this was a slow, gradual thing, whatever this was. But those opportunities weren't taken for whatever reason. Maybe intuition wasn't being listened to. maybe friends, colleagues, maybe, you know, people that you trusted or that they trusted were trying to counsel them, and they were not, they just blew them off. Or, you know, the counselor, so to speak, got blown off, or the intuition got blown off. And now that's the reaping what you've sown bit. Well, you know, sometimes it's we reap what we sow within ourselves too, right? When we ignore our intuition, it very often comes back to bite us hard. And that's kind of the vibe I'm getting with this reading here. I think whomever is involved here, whether it's you or the person you have in mind, they're still holding out hope that they're going to be able to figure this out, that they're going to be able to logic their way through it, and that they're going to be able to kind of turn this around, and try to make the best out of the situation. Okay, so there's still whatever has happened here, and clearly there's been a challenge and a pretty good kind of upheaval of what was expected. There's still a hope, and I'm even getting that they're, you know, like whoever this person is, whether it's you or the person you have in mind, they're really staying optimistic. I'll use that word. They're staying optimistic that they can figure their way out of this. They know that they need to start kind of over, and they need to start from scratch and see what they can salvage. But I'm getting that there really is a desire to, you know, kind of win, to be victorious, to want to make this right, to fix whatever, you know, got broken or whatever went, you know, left, to kind of course correct. So there's a strong desire here to have that. So let's see. I'm wondering if I should let's see. Are there any final parting messages? Ooh, something just flipped. There it is. I knew it. And look what it is. The Death card. Fascinating. The suggestion here with, you know, Death coming up twice and the Knight of Pentacles coming up twice. If they choose to move forward with this, the course correction is probably going to be slow, with Death and the Knight of Pentacles representing strongly here. Or the suggestion is to cut losses and move forward. So salvage whatever can be salvaged, cut the losses, salvage whatever can be salvaged, and move forward with that, as opposed to, you know, potentially trying to kind of like go back to where this originally started, if that makes sense. Okay. Okay. Well, I'm going to leave that here. And I hope that you found that insightful, helpful, validating in some way, okay? And I hope to see you around my channel. Take care. Welcome to my channel, Change Spider Tarot. I hope you all are well and finding creative and healthy ways to calm and nourish your mind, body, and spirit. These messages are intended to provide validation and clarity to those who most need to hear them. You may hear a message that may help a friend or a family member, and your passing this video to them could be why you're here today. Stay open and stay loving. Peace and love to you. Okay, for those of you that chose pile number 3, let's take a look at the cards. Sensuality. Beautiful. Your freedom flowing from far away. I dance, I love, I laugh, I play. Okay. The Star. The Seven of Cups. The Six of Pentacles. The Strength card. The Eight of Swords. And I intended to pull one more from this deck for this, so let's get that now. The Page of Wands. Okay, so let's see here. I think with this significator card, the encouragement here is to explore, to really, I'm going to take this kind of literally, because we have the Star, because we have the Seven of Cups here, and because we have this Page of Wands. So I'm going to interpret this quite literally, that someone needs to embrace and explore their sensuality, because it's a challenge for them. Okay, so whether this is you or the person that you have in mind, anytime that idea of expressing my sensuality, so in this case it's dance, love, laugh, play, right, is what we have suggested here by this card. Dance, love, laugh, play. How often do you allow yourself to do that? Or how often does the person you have in mind allow themselves to do that, right? So the encouragement here is to work on embracing that and expressing that and exploring that with this Page of Wands. There's healing to be had by allowing this sensual energy to flow. Okay, this doesn't mean sexual. I mean, it could, but it doesn't have to. In this case, we're focusing on dance, love, laugh, play. Okay, and so allow yourself some game time, right? Allow yourself to do some play. Allow yourself to not have everything figured out. Allow for some ambiguity. What I'm getting is that, you have opportunities, or the person you have in mind has opportunities to do these things, to kind of let loose and let go a little bit. Their opportunities are presenting themselves, but you or they may not be taking advantage of those opportunities. And so the energy here is to kind of let go of this internal struggle, because both of these cards have to do with internal struggles, and allow yourself to embrace the fun and the creativity, and even the passion that comes with the Wands, and especially the Page of Wands. Someone may have even, with the Page of Wands, someone may have even verbally suggested, hey, why don't you let loose and let's just have some fun. That may be a challenge for you or the person you have in mind. And so you may have even heard that from somebody with this page here. I'm also getting that for you or the person that you have in mind, this is something that they really want too. They want to be able to do this. They want to be able to, they or you want to be able to express themselves in a little more of a carefree type of way, which is what this Page of Wands is really suggesting. This Star card is, it's an aspiration and it's a dream, and sometimes when we have these aspirations and these dreams, we have difficulty trying to figure out how to attain them. How do I do this? Especially if it's something that feels very, causes anxiety, or you feel very constricted or constrained when you think about doing these things, or if they think about doing these things. So the encouragement here is to really let yourself explore and relax and cut loose a little bit, right? And just let yourself have some fun. And it looks like there are opportunities for you to be able to do some give and take of fun with other people. Okay, it may not come as naturally to you or them, and there may be a struggle here. I see that here, but there's a really strong suggestion that it's the medicine that you need, okay, or they need. So let's get some clarification on this, okay? The Tower. You gotta let your walls down. You, they. The Six of Cups. Yeah, I think it's something, I think this ties back to what I got here with the Star card. I think this is really something that you or they really, you dream about it, right? You dream about it, dreaming, not literally dreaming, but like it's something that you wish or they wish that they could do more easily. It is something that is thought about. And it's something, again, that idea of aspiring to be, right? And just how do I do it? And I think the key is here. And this is actually quite important, right? Because we have the Star card, which is a major arcana, a card of balance and healing, right? So there's some kind of imbalance here within your life or this person's life where, you know, and again, the obvious suggestion here is that there's too much seriousness and not enough dance, love, laugh, play, right? So there's a balance that needs to be found here, and there's healing that will come from that. So this is a major arcana, an important significator for someone's life more than just the mundane everyday. This is an important piece of someone's spiritual growth and development, supported by the Strength card. This is something that he or you have been struggling with for quite some time, on how to kind of get a handle on this, and really how to be able to express yourself and how to be able to do the dance, love, laugh, play, fun stuff, right? How do I do that? It's a challenge. And then again, we have two more major arcana, which again, this is part of your spiritual growth and development, or their spiritual growth and development. The Tower card and the Judgment. Old ways of thinking, old ways of doing things, old ways of keeping yourself protected, not being vulnerable, needs to go. It needs to go. It needs to go, because you may very well be this person right here, or the person you're thinking about is this person right here, which is, if only I could just let my guard down. You know, there's all this stuff that I wish and dream that I could do, but I'm too scared. I don't want to be vulnerable. I don't want to put myself out there in that way. I don't know how to let loose. I don't really know. I never really learned how to have fun. So all of these types of ideas are coming to me with this. And there's a fear here. So part of this is a fear, a literal fear of being laughed at. Or being judged, and perhaps that's where this all came from. Perhaps this was something from childhood that's been carried into adulthood. Maybe something happened, you put yourself out there, you made yourself vulnerable, and something happened and you felt stupid, or they felt stupid about it, and so that just kind of really was traumatic. And so there's a literal way to interpret this card. The other way to interpret this card is, this is your wake-up call, okay? This is your wake-up call that it's time, like the time is now for you to start to find this balance with this Star card, and to get a handle once and for all on this internal struggle that you or they have had, you know, looks like for a very long time. The struggle with embracing fun, and just cutting loose and letting go. the time is now. Like the horn is being sounded, you know, like wake up. It's time for you or them to wake up. This tower will come whether or not you want it to. All right, so that's the other thing that I'm getting very strongly here, because there's strong significators. This is part of someone's spiritual growth, that if you don't do this voluntarily, or they don't do this voluntarily, it's going to happen. Like something will happen which will force the issue. And with something like this, that sounds almost silly to say, like someone's going to force me to dance, love, laugh, play. Well, you'd be surprised the way the universe has a way of kicking and lighting a fire under us when we continue to ignore suggestions. And clearly it's here, right? It's here. So this is something that you're aware of, or that they're aware of. All right, that I'm getting. There's an awareness here, because we have 2 6s. We have suggestions coming to us, probably from the outside. We ignore them. We laugh them off. We think it's funny. We think it's a joke. We let it go. We go on about our serious way. And in the meantime, in the background, subconsciously, and maybe even sometimes consciously, we are thinking about this. But we continue to push it off because it's a struggle. It's too hard. It's too hard for me to change the way that I do things right now. It's too scary for me to put myself out there, right? So the longer you resist, the harder this tower is going to be when it falls. The more painful, the more disruptive this will be. But we can't avoid the tower forever. It's going to happen one way or another. So if this is you, and this is really resonating for you, there's a very strong suggestion here that this is kind of like your final, almost like I'm getting your final warning, that you can take matters into your own hands right now, and that you have the capacity and now the insight and the knowledge to start to make these shifts. Otherwise, they're going to be made for you, okay? And I know that that sounds tough, but that's the message that's coming through. You can listen to some of the other readings here, and they did not sound like this, okay? So take that for what it's worth. This is like some tough love that's coming through here. So let's get a little bit more clarification for this, please. The King of Pentacles, the Knight of Pentacles, and the Page of Cups. The Hierophant, the King of Swords, and the Fool. Wow, y'all. It looks like there may be some people this is a lot of court cards. Maybe there are some people preventing you or them from really fully being able to express themselves, from being able to enter this Fool energy. Like, it's interesting that we ended off on this Fool, right? Because this is the goal. The Fool is the end game here, right? The Fool is like the ideal. Like, what's all been suggested here is like this beautiful, carefree energy, right? A marriage partner. A marriage partner who is either super serious and doesn't allow for a lot of playtime, or because you've been with this person for a while, you've adopted, their way of being, the way that, you know, so you've adopted the seriousness. Perhaps, all right, this just came through. Perhaps this, your wake-up call here, right? So if we go kind of back to this, your wake-up call, maybe you used to do this very much more easily. Maybe this was something that you used to do. And, you know, with all these court cards, it makes me believe that there's another person in the mix here. Someone may be a little bit controlling in this relationship and prevents you from being able to do this. And I'm getting that from this King of Pentacles. And I'm also getting that from this, well, I'm getting that from this King of Pentacles and this Hierophant, all right? This relationship, marriage situation where someone might be a little dominating, and or because they're a little dominating, they might be, you know, they might project like the King of Swords, which is just very logical and kind of a little bit cold. Cold from the standpoint of not necessarily sensuality and the King of Swords don't necessarily go together. That doesn't mean that a King of Swords can't ever have fun, but those two things just, you know, you wouldn't necessarily line those two things up. So whoever this person is that's representing as this King of Swords is either the partner, right? So it's an aspect of this King of Pentacles, or you've adopted this aspect of their personality, or this aspect of this personality has been adopted by whomever you're thinking about. And complacency. I'm getting complacency with this Knight of Pentacles. So again, going back to what I said here, it felt like this was something that had been for a while, this lack of fun, this lack of like letting loose and having fun. That's really resonating for me with this Knight of Pentacles. That you or they've just become complacent with this energy, right? It's just become the norm. It's become the way things are, and it's just become the accepted reality. In the meantime, somebody's intuition is screaming at them and is giving them all kinds of little hints, possibly even dreams, that it's time to shift this energy, this Tower and this Judgment card. This energy needs to shift, and if it doesn't get shifted voluntarily, it's going to get, the universe is going to shift it for you or whomever you're watching this reading for, okay? So I think there's another energy involved that's preventing this from either preventing this from coming through, right? Or someone who's a little bit on the domineering side and that's kind of suppressing, right? And if they're not suppressing, they don't do a lot of like let loose and have fun. And over the years, over time, you have taken on that persona as well. You've become complacent in this energy of not cutting loose and not having balance between serious and fun, work and play. All right, there's a balance that needs to be found here. And I love that we ended this reading on the Fool card as the last card that came out. I just think that's absolutely amazing. This page underneath the Judgment card. So if this is a, yeah, I'm feelings have been suppressed, right? So like, so if we're not able to do this, if we're not able to do this dance, love, laugh, play, we're not in a Page of Cups energy, right? The pages for me have a very carefree and youthful energy. We have two here, right? And the suggestion is that that energy is not being utilized. And so again, the reminder here, you know, in order to tap into this Fool energy, in order to get to this place, which was the essentially the suggestion from the beginning, was to get to this place of being a carefree fool, the heart space needs to be re-engaged, and that carefree, loving thing that I'm really getting that once was here. It was here once upon a time. And over time, I guess because of the partner or, you know, whatever the situation was, it got suppressed. You know, maybe it was just life. I think it feels like life just happened, and or I just adopted my partner's, you know, persona, and this part of me got squashed, and I need to tap back into that in order to get here. And if I don't, it's going to happen to me in one way, shape, or form. It's going to happen to me regardless, whether or not I want it to happen, whether or not I think it's a challenge, whether or not my husband or my partner or my children or whatever, or my whoever it is going to laugh at me and judge me for, you know, acting like I did 20 years ago or whatever the case may be. Who cares? Who cares? Because again, if you don't make this choice for yourself now, or if the person you have in mind doesn't make this choice for themselves, it's going to be made for them. So you have an opportunity here. I think this reading found you, or you found this reading, because this is your last chance. This is the final call for you to kind of do this growth and really just embrace this healing that can come in by finding this balance, okay? And again, I know this was tough love. This was definitely a tough love reading. And I hope that you got something out of this. I hope that you found it helpful, and I do hope to see you around my channel. Okay? Take care. Welcome to my channel, Changespider Tarot. I hope you all are well and finding creative and healthy ways to calm and nourish your mind, body, and spirit. These messages are intended to provide validation and clarity to those who most need to hear them. You may hear a message that may help a friend or a family member, and your passing this video to them could be why you're here today. Stay open and stay loving. Peace and love to you. Okay, for those of you that chose pile number 4, let's take a look at the cards. Abundance. Awesome. Page of Swords. The Hanged Man. The Queen of Wands, the Moon, the Ace of Pentacles, and the Strength card. All right, let's see what we get. So there's something, what I'm getting here is that someone is really trying to manifest something. Someone is really trying to create something. We overuse that term manifest a lot in this community, but that is what I'm getting here with abundance and this Ace of Pentacles and the Hanged Man. The way to create this thing that you want, to bring this thing that you want into existence, to have whatever this thing is, you're really in a contemplative type of mood, trying to figure out how to go about doing that. And I like the Queen of Wands here for that as well. So you're really tapping into some strong, creative, primal, I'm getting the word primal type of energies, to really try to wrap your head around, how do I do this? You're really starting to think outside the box, you or whomever it is that you have in mind, okay? They're ready to go, all right? So they are ready to go with this. They're really ready to start putting some serious effort and energy into whatever it is that they're trying to create here, that they're trying to bring in, that they're trying to, you know, kind of bring into their life. Challenge being, and here's that thing, here's that new abundant thing that they're trying to kind of bring in, or that you're trying to bring in. how to go about that is still a bit elusive, all right? So with the moon and the hanged man here, and the fact that we have this page, and even this, you know, kind of foundation with this strength, you or they are still trying to figure out, how in the heck do I do this? You're not exactly sure where to start. So that's the clarification that we're going to get. I don't often, with these types of readings, I don't often ask for specific types of clarification. I just let through what comes through with these intuitive readings. But in this particular case, when we get clarification, we are going to ask specifically on what, you know, kind of what the blockage is, and what, to give you some ideas on how you can start to proceed and move forward with bringing this in, because clearly there's a lot of effort and energy that's getting, mental effort and energy that's getting put into, how do I do this? And the desire is strong. All right, this is strong. This is not just like something that's like a fleeting idea. This is something that you've probably been pondering for a while, something that you've been, you know, wanting for a while, something that you've been thinking about very seriously for a while. This is not just something that happened yesterday. This is something that you're really serious about wanting to bring forward, but you're a bit stuck. I'm getting a bit stuck with, how do I go about this? Like, I have an idea of what I want, and I'm getting clear about what I want. I am getting that there's some clarity here, that there's a relatively strong idea with what it is that you want to bring forward. The challenge is the how piece, okay? So I'm going to work under the assumption that you are clear on what it is you want to bring forward, because that's like manifesting step number 101, right? That's the very first step. If you're 80% clear, then that's the hang up, okay? So that's, take out your pen and paper, start brain dumping, and then, you know, consolidate, clear, get clearer, get clearer until you have a concise statement of what it is that you want, all right? What it is that you want to bring in exactly, okay? And the feeling of that thing. Right? So first you get clear on what it is that you want, and then you really hone in, and the magic happens. You really hone in on how that thing, having that thing, will allow you to feel. Okay? That's where the magic happens right there. But before we can get to the feeling, we have to get clear on the what. All right? So I'm working under the assumption right now that you're clear on the what, and if you're not, that's your step. So when you get clear on the what next? All right, so let's look at the what next piece. All right. Woo. King of Cups. King of Cups. We're not going to keep it, but I want to point that out because it just really reinforces what I just said about the feelings. In order to be successful at manifesting, we have to get clear on our feelings. That's like step number 2, okay? Before we try to start to manifest something, what is it that we want, and then how, the feeling piece of that, and that's the King of Cups, okay? So that's a reinforcement that's really key, and that might be the piece that you're missing, since that popped out like that. So you might be able to turn the reading off here, but I would encourage you to stick around for a little bit longer, just to kind of see where this goes. So let's see here. What clarification can we give for how, once they're clear, how do they go about this? Bringing this thing into existence, bringing this thing into their life that they want to bring in. How do they do that? It's driving me nuts, sorry. Okay. Of course you need the Ace of Wands. Hello, that's awesome. The Knight of Swords, and the Page of Cups. There are those feelings again. I'm getting I'm getting the impression that you or the person you have in mind has thought about doing this being like really, really, really seriously trying to manifest something. That's something that's been thought about in the past, but maybe never truly attempted. Like, I don't know that you've gotten as far as you've gotten this time in terms of the seriousness with which this is being pursued, right? Because we have the Ace of Wands and we have the Page here. And so this is something new. We also, here's another ace, right? So it's like, so this is not something that, it's something, I'm getting that it's something you've been thinking about for a while and that you're very serious about doing, right? And we also have the Page of Swords. However, there's like a novelty to this as well. It's something, and this may be why the struggle is here, right? Like the how do I do this? Because you've really never done it before. So this is like the first time. Right? How do I know this is possible. I've heard that people can do it. I feel confident that I can do it. And of course you can, we all can. But how? Like, how do I do this? Right? And so this is a reinforcement for you to just acknowledge that there's a little bit of trial and error that's going to happen anytime we try something new. All right? So you're going to be testing things out. And that's fine, and that's okay, because each of us has to find the way that works for us. I've given you the two major things, which is get crystal clear on what it is that you want, and then the second piece, when you're clear on that thing, the feeling piece of it. How will you feel once you have that? What will that allow you to be and have, right? The feelings, all the feelings tied to that. That's the key right there. This Knight of Swords is suggesting, right? So there's a lot of energy that's like flying this way, right? With this Ace of Wands and this Knight. So you, and this, the Queen of Wands is not the most patient person on the planet either, right? So you may be very anxious to bring this forward. You may be very anxious to want to kind of get to this, right? I want it now. Unfortunately, you can listen to some of Wayne Dyer's stuff. I would suggest listening to some of Wayne Dyer's old stuff where he talks about this. The universe doesn't work on our time schedule. It doesn't work on our time frame, okay? So we have to get clear on what it is that we want, and then we can co-create with the universe, but it's not on our time schedule, right? Things have to line up, and the idea here is that things will happen when they're supposed to happen for our greatest good, especially if it's aligned with our spiritual growth and development and it's aligned with our greatest good. Sometimes we have to be patient, and it's not going to happen the second that we want it to happen. And the more that we try to impose a time frame on manifesting, the more I think it gets withheld from us. So I would encourage, the other suggestion here would be, since I'm getting here that this is something new, if you've been trying to put a time frame on this, get that out of the equation. Start over with if you're doing it with writing stuff down and getting clear on what it is that you want, and you've had like time frames associated with that, I would release that and just drill down to the essence. That's what these cards are really suggesting to me. And so the passion is definitely here. The most important piece is patience. The Knight of Swords is not patient. Patience, and get into your feelings about it. And so when we actually get to the place where we're truly looking to communicate what it is that we want from the universe, right? So we have to get all that stuff clear first, then we start that communication process, and that's when the feelings become super critical. So let's get a little bit more here on how to bring in this abundance. What else can we give? Suggestions for how to bring in this abundance. the Moon, the Knight of Cups, and the King of Swords. Really interesting. You may get some ideas from your dreams. You may need to do some meditating and tap into your intuition to also help you to kind of further this process along. Trust your intuition. This is going to sound really weird, guys, but I'm just giving you what I'm getting. I'm saying like court. This is going to sound really weird. Like you're almost like if you were dating someone where you would try to like, you know, kind of court them or whatever, that you almost kind of have to do that with your intuition. I'm getting this image of like a meditation practice that maybe has been sporadic and not necessarily like a consistent meditation practice where that relationship needs to be built, right? That relationship to meditation, which is a way for us to communicate to the universe and just, you know, and not necessarily always asking for something, right? Like the idea there would be is that relationship has already been established through regular meditation, through the discipline of having that. And then when we really need something, when we need to ask for some abundance, when we're trying to bring something into our lives, that line of communication is already open and we already have that in place. So that's what I'm getting with this Knight of Cups, interestingly enough, is that you have to court your intuition. Oh my goodness. And yeah, here, so the king, you know, it's interesting because the King of Swords, contrary to the Knight of Swords, is very logical and patient. And I love that in this deck he's playing chess because that's very strategic. It's a very strategic game. And there is strategy involved with manifesting from the standpoint of clarity on what your moves are, right? And so that clarity that we talked about earlier in the reading, that's important here. The King of Swords isn't going to move a chess piece until he can see, you know, where that move is going to take him down the road. And that's the other, okay, so that's one more thing I'm going to say here so that I don't sound too preachy about this, but careful what you ask or careful how you ask, right? So once we get down to the actual business of manifesting, careful how you ask because you'd be surprised how literal the manifestations can actually be. So that's why it's super important to not rush, okay? Do not rush this. Take your time. Maybe take a step back and this passion that you have, keep it, you know, keep this passion. Keep the thinking outside the box. That's awesome, right? Keep going with that. However, maybe push the, you know, pump the brake a little bit and kind of go back over and look for that clarity. Look for that clarity on what you want, time frame, you know, let the universe do that for you, okay? Get clear on what you want, get clear on the feelings piece of this. Understand that this is it's a give and take. This is a give and take, okay? And I'm also getting strongly here that a meditation practice, a consistent, you know, almost kind of like a, you know, like you would with religion. I'm not saying anything about religion. I'm saying like you would, like you say, I want to be religious about this. Like I want to be religious about my meditation practice, right? I want to do it consistently, if that makes sense. All right. And I don't know why religion came up, so maybe that's meaningful for someone. Maybe that will strike a chord with somebody here. But all right, I hopefully gave you some really good first steps to start to really put this abundance manifesting into action so that you can start to really make progress and move forward on this. And I hope that everything works out well for you and that through this meditation and through your continued passion for wanting to do this, whatever this is, I hope that this comes to you and is beautiful as you want it to be. All right? And I really do hope that this gave you some clarity and some help. And I do hope to see you around my channel. Okay? Take care. Welcome to my channel, ChangeSpider Tarot. I hope you all are well and finding creative and healthy ways to calm and nourish your mind, body, and spirit. These messages are intended to provide validation and clarity to those who most need to hear them. You may hear a message that may help a friend or a family member, and your passing this video to them could be why you're here today. Stay open and stay loving. Peace and love to you. Okay, for those of you that chose pile number 5, let's take a look at the cards. Destiny. The 6 of Pentacles. The 5 of Wands and the 6 of Wands. Okay. The 4 of Pentacles, the Queen of Swords, and the 9 of Cups. Wow, okay. What I'm getting here is that you have recently experienced something, or the person you have in mind has recently experienced something which allowed you or them to really rise above the fray. Okay? So and I'm getting like almost like the universe presented you. It was almost kind of, what I'm getting is kind of like a test to see how you would respond, to see how you would behave if placed in a particular situation. If, you know, a certain situation was placed in front of you. In this particular case, I'm getting that it was a challenge of some variety. All right. Whether it was personality challenge or whatever, any test, there was some kind of challenge that was placed before you, and you could have chosen to behave in a number of ways, as we all have the choice to do that, right? We all have the choice to behave in some kind of way that's going to create less karma and ways that will create more karma or negative karma, right? And so you were faced with this choice. You were faced with this opportunity. And based on these cards, you chose the high road. You chose to rise above the fray. You could have gotten stuck in the muck, in the mire with whatever that situation was, but you didn't. you did not. You in some cases you stood your ground, and not in some cases. In this particular case, you stood your ground when you didn't have to, right? We always have a choice. You didn't have to stand your ground. You could have gone a different way with it, but you did. You, instead of, and I'm also getting from this is, you maybe didn't say as much as you wanted to say, or you didn't express yourself as much as maybe you wanted to. So like sometimes when we're very angry, I'm just using this as an example, we have a choice. We can spew our anger at the person who we feel like is creating the anger, even though it's all on us anyway. So we can spew our anger out at someone, or even vent or whatever, or we can choose a different way, which is to process it on our own, or to not say the mean, ugly things, all of those types of ideas, right? So it's like whatever this was, you chose, or this person you have in mind chose, to kind of rise above. You didn't speak the ugly words. You didn't do the ugly gestures. You didn't say all of the things that you wanted to say. You kept your mouth closed. You kept your actions in check, all right? And again, reinforced by this Queen of Swords. She, in this case, was not the Queen of Swords that cut your head off, because the Queen of Swords can do that too. In this case, I'm getting that this Queen of Swords was the diplomatic Queen of Swords. She was the logical Queen of Swords. She was the Queen of Swords that had her emotions in check, all right? So this rising above the fray, the emotions were kept in check. Logic prevailed, all right? That's another way that I see this. Logic prevailed. Emotions did not take over, and I love that we have this Nine of Cups. That, you know, we're bringing the emotion piece in, because this was definitely part of this, right? There were emotions involved here, but you, or the person you have in mind, did not allow the emotions to take over. So it's almost kind of like, and you should be proud of yourself, all right? Or the person you have in mind should be proud of themselves for what they were able to accomplish. So again, back to this idea of this test that kind of came through with this Destiny card. I'm getting you passed with flying colors. Like you really did pass. And there might be, you know, there might still have been some things, like if you're going to nitpick about the way this went down, you might say like, yeah, I wish I would have done this and not done that. But, you know, in big picture here, I would say like 2 thumbs up, good job. This was really, you were tapping into your higher self, if you want to be woo-woo about it, right? You really did find a way to kind of tap in and pass this like spiritual test, if you want to call it that. And that idea of testing frustrates some people in this community, but so if that frustrates you, I'm sorry, but that's what it feels like to me, is that this potential challenge, obstacle, was put in front of you to see, to really to test you, to see how much have you actually grown. You know, how much have you learned to control your emotions and channel them in a more productive, healthy way? And based on these cards, I would say you've learned, and that's really awesome. So let's get some clarification. What more can we get regarding this destiny, this challenging opportunity that was given? So we have the Five of Swords. I'm not going to keep it, but I just want you to see it. We have the Five of Swords here. So this could have potentially turned into something really ugly, and you averted the super ugliness of it. You really did. You really did. That's really beautiful. All right. So what else can we get here? Yeah, that could, I think this situation could have gotten really ugly, but you managed to keep it in check. Good for you. That's really awesome. You know, sometimes we have our moments. This 10 of Wands. This might have been a really challenging situation for you. This might have really been, and after the fact, you might have needed some time to decompress after the fact, but that 10 of Wands that just popped over like that, after this was done and you walked away and you went home and you had a chance to kind of think about and reassess what all happened, you might have been like, holy crap on a cracker. That could have been like that, you know, it's almost kind of like that adrenaline rush that you get afterward when you've averted an incident or you've averted a potential fight or something like that. The kind of the adrenaline that comes in after. That's what I was getting from that 10 of Wands when it popped over. All right, the Hanged Man, the 8 of Wands, the King of Wands, the 3 of Cups, the 6 of Swords, and the Lovers. So whatever happened here may have happened, this may have been in a public setting. There may have been friends, family, it might have been friends, family. And so now that you're kind of on the other side of this and you're proud of the way that you handled it, I'm also getting that you might be wondering if you could do it again. I just got that. Like, you might be wondering, can I hold the cool again if this happens again? I don't know why I'm getting that, but I'm getting it. And so now you're in this place where you're thinking to yourself, how do I want to handle this in the future? All right, how do I want to handle it with this person in the future, especially if it happens in public and or it's a family thing, right? So this is somebody that you have to see again because you're related to them and you're going to be with them again because they're your family, right? So it's kind of, that's the idea I'm getting here. So you're in a place of contemplation with, can I manage this awesomeness again? Am I going to be able to keep my cool if this happens again? How do I want to deal with this situation going forward? Okay, so now we move over here with the 8 and the 6. I'm thinking that your instinct right now, now that things have kind of cooled off, is to tell them you need things to cool off. Like, you need things to be, you need some separation for a minute. All right, so like, I think that if you haven't already done it with the 8 of Wands, could be you've already done this, or you're very seriously considering doing it, is like the phone call or the email, which is, I don't want to do this again. And so it's probably better if we don't see each other for now, right? And if this is a relationship, which could potentially be here too with the Lovers here. So this is somebody that you're involved with in some way, shape, or form. Family, relationship of some variety, okay? You may have already told them, or you're going to or you're thinking about telling them, like, I can't do this again, and so I think we need to take a break. All right? I'm not telling you to take a break. I'm telling you that the cards are suggesting that you're thinking that. I don't know what you're going to do. I'm not trying to tell you what to do, okay? You have to make your own calls. I just want to be clear on that one in case that sounded like I might have been instructing, which in this case I'm not. This is just what the cards are suggesting. So with this King of Wands, again, for me, this is reinforcing that you may be considering moving on to a different type of relationship, right? So if this is a family member, some people break up with their family, like, I don't know what your situation is. You might walk away, you might completely walk away from this family member. If it's a relationship, you may choose to end it for now. Again, this passion is like leaving, and with this 8, there's also a quickness with the 8. So this is something that you've either already done it, or you're very seriously considering doing it, and it's going to be a message of some variety. It's going to be like a phone call, an email, something. I'm gonna just get a little bit, let me see about getting a little bit of clarification on this Lovers card before we wrap this up. Woo! What is this? The 2 of Swords, the Page of Swords, the Death card, the Eight of Cups. I'm trying to pick them up in a group. They didn't want to get picked up in a group. So that Page of Swords and the Death card, and there may be a suggestion there in those cards that it might be time to really kind of shift this energy. And in some cases, it may be, walking away from it completely for now. What clarification can we get for the Lover's card, please? Let's do a little scoocheroo here. The High Priest, which is the Hierophant. The Two of Cups, yeah. Dang it, is this a marriage, y'all? And the Empress, dang it. So for those of you where this is not a family, like a extended family member, and this is an actual relationship, what I'm getting from these cards is that once upon a time, this person was your Empress, And I'm getting a strong feel. I'm getting strong male energy here. So this person was your everything at one time. Like, you really saw them in a really amazing light. There was true, genuine love here. And it looks like a serious commitment, right? This is either marriage, or you've lived together for a while, or there's some kind of serious commitment here that brought these two energies together. And dang, these cards are suggestive of a split. The cards are suggesting that someone in this relationship is considering a split. Again, for some of you, this is going to be family. For some of you, this is going to be a relationship. And a split is seriously considered because one of you has really kind of grown spiritually, because you were able to do this, right? You're not able to do this, overcome this, if you haven't grown and developed. And I feel like the other person has not. They're not at your level, or you guys are not on the same level. And so this is where this contemplation is coming in, where, this used to be like a fun thing. And you guys used to be on the same page, and you used to be able to go out and have fun together. You're reconsidering all that now. And because of something that happened here, something that looked like it was probably public to some degree, or it became public knowledge if it didn't happen in public, something like that, where other people became aware of what happened. And you look good in this situation because you did rise above the fray. You didn't fall into the muck. The temptation was there, right? The test was there, but you didn't fall for it. This other person is not on your level, though. And so now now you're in this, do I walk away or do I stay? Do I try to fix this or don't I try to fix this, right? And that's something that, that requires a private reading. I'm not going to try to get into that here. So if that's something that you're interested in, feel free to contact me. Otherwise, I do wish you the best with this decision. I can feel that this is not an easy decision. This is something that's weighing on you and that you're really taking seriously, and you're trying to do the best that you can for yourself. I'm also getting that you have the other person in mind as well. So I hope that you found that helpful, validating in some way, and gave you some insights, or, at the very least with this one, at least some validation. All right, and congratulations on your growth and your spiritual development and the way that you were able to rise above the situation. I am getting that that was really a challenge and you passed with flying colors. So congratulations to you, and I do hope to see you around my channel. All right, take care.